I would like to close by asking President in this case, based on the similar experience, with the benefit of hindsight, President Saakashvili in this case, what would you have done differently? I'm assuming in this case it's going to be the advice for the next president, or the president for other country in this case, that is going to start saying that I'm sure in many developing countries, the most popular political promise of any political leader is always that I'm going to fight against corruption. So what would you do differently? And what is the advice if you give to other prime minister, president that is run and have this commitment to fight against corruption? The second one, because Georgia is a small country, relatively small in a way, it's not saying that it is easy, but will that kind of experience will be different if it is applied to the big country in a way? So maybe that is the two most important questions which I would like to ask before I'm taking this privilege to be here and then asking the question to the President first. And I would like to hear the President in explaining and sharing with us even more that experience. Thank you.
To the first question, I would say thank you first of all for this generous review of what's happening also in Indonesia. It was very interesting to listen to it. Obviously, it's a very, very fascinating country. First of all, we have still, don't write me off as president, not for next president, because we still have 2 years to go of very, very radical reforms, actually. I think the main reforms are coming now for, also in terms of political system in Georgia. But I think the biggest lesson I drew from myself is something that is not popular to say, but I say it all anyway, everywhere, is that I regret every compromise I made. I think I regret every delay we made. Every time we thought, okay, this might not be very popular now, let's do it maybe next year or the year after that, it always backfired. Once you do systemic reforms, you should go after it and do it in every sphere without delay, without hesitation, and then that's the way it works.
When I was in Georgia, I was really astonished to see the police stations are in glass.
The first time I saw this building, I asked about that first. Exactly, I had the same thing. Especially, we had these kind of crimes as well at that moment. And they all had one concrete room where they can hide behind. But actually, the crime rate, as I said, when Georgia dramatic. It's the European Union that several studies for the last 2 years is the safest country in Europe. Iceland was competing with us for a few years, and then they gave up.
If this was the truth in the less nice part of town, and he was a bit piqued by my remark and dragged me on the car, and we went to the suburbs, and indeed, it's all in glass, all the police stations. But now let me turn to the future, and one very straight question, and I think it reflects a number of other questions, is what is the unfinished agenda?
But I think it's in the end, it's in education system. It's in bringing up new generations. That's how you make a new country. And then the country will look beautiful overall, I guess. Just the mountains and nice climate and sea is not enough. You need all the rest to look good. Sorry.
That sounds like Steve Jobs. Like Steve Jobs. Where do you see Georgia in 5 to 8 years from now?
So I see it with modern infrastructure, high-speed trains, all kind of clean energy, electric cars, good highways in all directions, well-developed resorts, well-educated young people coming up, 70, 80, 100-story skyscrapers, they're all coming up now. These are not plans because they'll be there already in 2, 3, 4, 5 years. It will just look strikingly modern. It will look, it's still a European country. It will start to look like Singapore in terms of visuals, and I hope it will be a very dynamic place to be in, just a comfortable place to be in. That's how I see it.
Well, thank you for sharing this visual. I can see it. Thank again for the book. Please read it, and thank President Saakashvili for taking the time out of your busy agenda.